October of 1938, millions of Americans tuned their radios to CBS at 8 o'clock. And what they heard was nothing they could have imagined. A large metallic cylinder crashed into a field in Grover's Mills, New Jersey. The on-site reporter described beams emerging from the cylinder, quickly killing a force of 7,000 National Guard soldiers. Mass panic set in across the country, as millions of Americans believed we were under attack by Martians, intent on killing us all. As it turns out, things were blown slightly out of proportion. What listeners were actually hearing was Orson Welles' radio play of the classic novel, The War of the Worlds. The now famous broadcast has become a cautionary tale, showing us just how dangerous the world can be when we don't have all the facts at our disposal. Our modern world is overloaded with information, but the validity and accuracy of the info we receive has never been more uncertain. So today, we'll get the 411 on the lowdown, the skinny on the scoop, all the info we can find on, well, info, by first looking at where we get our information from, then going deeper to see how we analyze its validity, and finally drawing some conclusions as to the possible implications of a world in which facts can be anything but factual. Now, contrary to popular belief, information can actually come from things that don't require a map. From oral history and hieroglyphics to Gutenberg's invention of the printing press, the delivery of information is a story we all know well. Even when radio and television changed the game by introducing mass media into millions of homes, it's safe to say that the news we received in the past was largely homogeneous. But in recent times, with the growth of technology, Americans' primary source of news has changed dramatically. A little thing called the internet made it possible for us to go and find almost any piece of information that exists in a matter of seconds. Like, which royal has the longest pinky toe? It's hair. Elisa Shearer of the Pew Research Center revealed on December 10th, 2018, that online content has eclipsed newspapers in popularity and may overtake television in the near future. Digital media has created a plethora of news outlets for Americans to choose from, freeing us to view multiple perspectives and to access information that satisfies our individual interests. But the most recent development in the way we receive our news is the most high-tech, and perhaps the most dangerous as well. Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit have transitioned from purely social platforms into major sources of information, for better or for worse. Now, instead of having to go find information, it's being brought right to our feet, giant pinky toe and all. With this convenience comes the risk that the information we're being fed isn't as factual as we would like to believe. New America of October 11th, 2018 explains how information is being weaponized in today's world, saying that tapping into virtual networks allows actors, both benevolent and malicious, to drive their ideas viral through a mix of likes, deceptions, and network algorithms. And we thought invading Martians would be the death of us. Ultimately, the availability of information has diversified immensely, forcing consumers to determine for themselves whether or not the information they consume is correct. In recent years, the term fake news has been popularized, as misinformation has become much more prominent. According to the University of California, Berkeley of October 16, 2019, fake news is false information that is deliberately presented as fact. This includes ideas like President Obama was born in Kenya and vaccinations cause autism. The prevalence of lies like these has eroded Americans' trust in the press, making it harder and harder to navigate the growing landscape of information. The popularity of social media as a news source has muddied the waters even further. Neiman Journalism Lab of September 10, 2018 reports that Americans expect to receive their news from social media, but they don't expect it to be accurate. The convenience and speed with which we can access information on social media motivates our continued use in spite of our lack of trust in it. Basically, it's the McDonald's of news consumption. Billions served, but very few satisfied. Regardless, 36% of respondents to a 2018 Pew Research Center study felt that social media would help them stay informed, providing them access to information they may not have otherwise come across. One of the most crucial factors in Americans' determination of reliability is bias, as many worry that the information they consume is spun to fit an agenda. 62% of respondents to a 2018 Gallup poll believe that their information is biased. The poll reports that Americans perceive Fox News, Breitbart News, and MSNBC to be the most biased sources, while PBS, the Associated Press, and NPR are seen as the least biased. Putting all this together, it is clear that the convenient manner in which information is made available to us has made it more challenging than ever for us to determine if we can trust a source or not. With the ever-changing availability of sources and the perpetual decline of traditional journalism, we must consider how information will affect our world in the future. The World Economic Forum of January 23, 2019 predicts that news will become increasingly diversified, empowering people all over the world to become more informed of current events and their implications. The vast amount of options allows Americans to access information on virtually anything without the need to purchase the news. However, Jeff Steigel, author of a USA Today article of May 15, 2018, reports that our constant exposure to information, or opinion disguised as information, contributes to our susceptibility to confirmation bias. The source explains that confirmation bias causes us to automatically trust information if it confirms our pre-existing beliefs. This phenomenon can be beneficial, helping us make sound, logical decisions. Unfortunately, it can also be quite dangerous when we are exposed to such vast amounts of information, causing us to blindly believe falsehoods that match our ideology. Further, social media creates the potential for the development of echo chambers, in which the most extreme beliefs are amplified and reinforced. A 2018 study conducted by Stanford University demonstrated that when controversial news appears on Twitter, the most extreme opinions surrounding the issue drown out modern ones. Americans' dependence on social media as a news source may change the way we perceive and consume news, transforming it from a discussion of fact to a competition of opinion in which the loudest voices usually win. Today, we've taken a hard look at the information we gather on a daily basis and seen that for something that's supposed to be purely factual, the way information is presented, received, and processed is as diverse and varied as the world it seeks to describe. By looking at where we get our information from, analyzing its validity, and weighing both the positive and negative implications, it's clear that our opinions are only as good as the information we base them upon. And while we may not be scared and confused radio listeners from 1938, it's apparent that there's a whole different world